Hi everybody. So this is where we're at. This is where we left off the last time I was working on this Beach Time truck insert. And by the way, my name is Cindy and I'm with Elevated Designs. So we're going to continue working on this today. What we have left on this particular piece is we need to paint the flower, okay? Which I made the flower a plumeria. So if you're familiar with that, that's a very tropical flower. We have the glasses we need to paint for the gnome, the hands and the nose, and then also the beard. So we're on our way. I think I'm going to start off working on the beard, and I'm going to use a technique using a rake brush. But this particular technique does take some time, so I thought let's start off with that first. And then hopefully I can get the other elements done. We still have the license plate to do, and we have the tailgate. And this adorable truck insert is going to be finished, and it'll be available on Etsy. So I will always post when my designs are available on Etsy, on my Facebook page. So if you're following my page and you like my page, then you will get notifications. Now, I'm not worried about going over the score lines here up in where that hat is glasses, because I'll be gluing glasses on that. So I just want to make sure I get my coloring up there. And I really like doing the sand gray as the background color for the beard. I used to do, I can't even think of it now. Anyhow. But I like this, I used to do this slate gray, which is like a darker gray, but I really like this color. And I am slopping on the paint today. And that's not my style. It's finally starting to warm up where I live. Thank goodness. They're actually talking about getting in the 50s. I'm ready for that, because it's been a pretty cold and brutal winter. Now, I really don't care if I get like a really great solid coverage like I normally try to accomplish when I'm doing my base coating. But, I have gotten color in certain areas, so I want to make sure that I get enough gray to cover that up, because I don't want that showing up. Now, I did add the first 2 videos in this series to my YouTube channel. And if you've been going to my YouTube channel, my playlist has a picture of the finished product. So you're able to see what the finished product looks like for that particular video. Because I don't have this done, I just created a generic photo saying, photo coming soon. But once I get this completely painted and proper photos taken, I will update that photo. I think that just makes it easier for the audience, looking for videos on YouTube, what exactly the video is about. So I like how they do that. I'm really liking how YouTube does things. So I'm pretty excited to be putting my videos on there. And I am going to look into going live from YouTube. See what's all involved and see if I can broadcast simultaneously. I can't even talk at the same time. Onto Facebook or vice versa. Go to Facebook and have it stream to YouTube. I know there's more involved with that, but I am going to look into that. And if you've been following things on Facebook, Facebook is making changes to their live video policies. Everything is going to be, boy, I'm just a sloppy painter today. Everything is going to be deleted after 30 days. Which I can understand these videos take up a lot of space. And I am going to look at, there's ways that you can compress your video and have it not be, take up so much space without ruining the visual quality. I'm going to look into that. I actually refer back to my videos because there's certain colors that I, used on a particular product and I like it because I have so many different colors of paint, I can't remember what color I used. Hi, Lisa. How are you today? Thank you for stopping in. I'm loving the painting of those robins. Those are really nice. Nice job. And I'm just going to leave those short yellow. I'm not really going to shade under them because most of that area is going to be kind of hidden from the bar that goes across the back of the truck. So I'm not going to worry about doing that. And I'm hoping this beard doesn't take that long to do. It's a smaller area. But the thing with doing the rake brush technique, I can't talk today, my goodness gracious. One of the key things to have it look so you can see the strokes is you gotta let the layers dry in between. So, as you're taking your rake brush and going across the surface and creating those hairlines, and it's easy to do because, you get impatient, you just want to get it done. You gotta let it dry, because if you don't, you know, that area is wet, it's just gonna, like, all in a sense blend together. I mean, there's ways to correct it. There's always ways to fix things. But, so it's a little time consuming. I know I'm gonna have to go over those areas again and get rid of that color. I'll just use a smaller brush to get in those areas. Alright, let's see if I can get a little bit closer and clean up some of these areas. And also too, once I get my beard put on, I like to shade, like underneath the nose, and I'm gonna shade where underneath the hat, just to cast like a shadow. And what I like to do is I like to use the same color that I'm using now, which is the sand gray, to do a shadow to shade with. Now sometimes I will mix it with neutral gray just to darken it up a little bit. But that just adds extra interest to the beard. Now you don't have to do the rake technique. You can just paint it a solid white or whatever color you want to paint. A lot of people do that. And then you could just shade and highlight around the edges, underneath the nose, and the sunglasses and hat, with, you know, whatever color you like to shade with for white, and it'll just add interest. But I know using a rake brush, and if you don't have a rake brush, if you have a liner brush, you can use that to do the technique. You know, the only thing is, you know, you're doing each stroke individually, and it can be a little time consuming that way, but you don't have to have a rake brush to do that. But I know a lot of people are intimidated by that technique, and honestly, it's not that hard. I think the key is having patience, because like I said, it is a time-consuming process, and you really got to have some patience and build up those layers. Wait to let it dry. Part of me feels like I need to tidy up that yellow a little bit, and I might do that. Because if I get crazy with my brush strokes, I'm going to be pulling brush strokes onto the surfboard, onto the palm tree. And there's nothing wrong with doing that. You know, it just, it's like giving the illusion of little flyaway hairs, which is natural when you've got a wild beard like this. So you want to make sure that you have, you know, your base coating done, any type of shading or highlighting that you want done before you do this beard. Boy, it's really windy out right now. I didn't think we were supposed to get wind, but Alright, let that dry really good, and I'm just going to touch up that yellow a little bit. I would just feel better about that. And this yellow is a tough color for base coating. I mean, I use banana cream, and what I've found is it takes several coats, and I couldn't make up my mind on what color one of my shorts, and so I'm actually going over various colors of paint, so that didn't help my cause. Now, I like to use this technique also sometimes on my Uncle Sam as well. I actually used it on my Uncle Sam fence peeker. And if you haven't seen my fence peeker designs, they're really, really adorable. Okay. Now, these rake brushes come in various sizes, various widths, various styles. They come rounded, they come square. I seem to gravitate towards the rounded more so. I don't know, I like it better. And then you want to get yourself a liner brush, and you'll be doing that for just like a little bit more detailed work. I think I'm going to highlight the outside edge of the shorts. Just because I feel like something's just missing. I'm not going to shade underneath the beard at all. So I'm just using cool white. And then I'm going to use cool white for my beard. I'm just walking the float over a little bit. I just feel like it tidies up the edges a little bit. That's just my opinion. Need to get one more coat on there. And then it's time to start. Okay. Hello. Okay, one thing you want to do is when you're doing this technique, you want your paint to be an ink-like consistency. So what I like to do is I like to dip my brush, get it really, really wet, and I'll take it over to my plate and I'll just start dipping it into my paint and just dragging a little bit out and just mix, mix, mix and get it really watered down. And I don't try and water my whole bit of paint on my plate, but you know, just enough to work with. And then what I like to do is I like to take my brush and rub it against the side of my plate to get all that excess paint and water off. Now, with this being curvy, you kind of want to follow the curves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start with this one here and then kind of work out, okay? And then I'll do that with this, and then I'll kind of go down straight in the middle. But you want to, I like to rest my pinky on my surface, and you want to try and keep your brush as upright as you can, and just drag your brush. And you just keep doing that. And you don't have to reload your brush every single stroke. Sometimes you might, depending on, you know, and you want to just, you know, touch the surface all oh so lightly. And even though I didn't get all the way there, I'm not going to fuss over it because I'll go back. I'll let that dry. And see, I actually pressed too hard and right in that area. And then also too, I didn't keep my brush upright good enough. So I got that wider line. But it's easy to change the pressure. And also too, you don't have to worry about trying to do this all in one stroke from top to bottom. You can start anywhere because you're gonna, like I said, you're gonna be doing layers upon layers. And because I have my paint watered down a little bit more than I should, this white kind of fades. But I'm okay with that. Because I rather build up, like I said, you want your paint to be an ink consistency. That is the key, because it needs to flow off this brush very easy. And I'm just kind of like doing little swipes, trying to stick with the curves of his beard. And then I'll go back with my liner brush and get more detail. But I'm just trying to build up my layers now. And see, I'm running out of paint. And as I run out of paint, the lines get smaller. I definitely want to do a better job in there. I got my strokes are a little bit wider than what I want. But I just try and go touch so lightly. I tell you who does a good job of this is that lady. Her name is Jilly Bean. She does this very well. I've watched a lot of her videos, and she's just wonderful with this rake brush technique. She makes it look easy. You all right, Kaylee? I have my little helper today. Let's see, I pushed too hard. But here's the thing, if you end up getting too much white paint, you can always go back with that base color and do strokes. And you can do that anyways if you want various colors in your beard. You know, you can do a darker shade of gray or whatever you use as your background color. There's no right or wrong. And honestly, this beach ball is going to be covering up a lot of his beard. But what I like to do is keep using my brush until I'm kind of satisfied with the results. And then I'll go to my liner brush and then just start using that to get a little bit more defined lines in certain areas. And I think what I'm gonna do, whoa. Let's see, I'm getting a little bit too much white there. More than what I would like. And I might let that dry and throw in some gray on that. because that's just a little bit darker than what I want. So I'll show you what I mean by, you can kind of make your oops moments disappear a little bit. Like I said, that has too much white. So I'm just going to take my base coat paint, which is a sand gray. I'm going to put it on my brush, and I'm just going to go over those areas. And then I'll let it dry. And then I'll hit it again if I want to hit it again. And see, that just kind of took away, you know, that white spot. And it's still a little bit too white in areas, but this is a good way to fix some oops moments if you have them. And if you find that you're not hitting the white spots good enough, take your liner brush and use that gray. All right, let me see if I can get... Also, you know, too, I've seen people... Well, thank you for the like, whoever you were. Also, some people will start from down here and work their way up. So, that's another option as well. Whatever you feel more comfortable doing. I always have someone come on and like my videos, but I never know who it is. They just hit like and sometimes disappear. All right, I think it's time to break out the liner brush and try and get closer to the end of this beard. Now, what I like to do is load up my brush with that ink consistency of paint, and then I twist my brush. I twist my brush like this to bring it to a point. That's what I like to do. And you want to try and keep your brush as upright as you can so you don't end up with really wide lines. And just, you know, put these wherever you like. I mean, I want a couple hairs going off the beard onto the palm tree and onto his shorts and the surfboard, so maybe that might be a little bit too much, but I think I'm gonna wipe that off before I can't do that anymore. I know I don't want to go overboard with that. I just don't. Because you can go overboard with the stray hairs. You can, I think. And by using a script liner, it kind of just helps you get in areas that might be a little bit darker than others that you missed. It needs to be darker. That was a little bit wider than what I wanted, but it just has to be a personal preference how much paint you put on. Hello. And I'm kind of glad that's where that's at, because that's going to be where the beach ball is. So I'm okay with that. Matter of fact, a lot of this, this beard is going to be covered up by the beach ball and hands, but I mean, you could spend hours doing this or no time at all. It just depends on how much detail you want. So let me just see. See? I know I need to put a couple stray hairs over here. And I'm just touching the surface oh so lightly. And I don't want that big. All right. And I think I'm about, no, that was a yikes. Okay, I'm about done with this. So what I want to do is I want to shade underneath the glasses only. I'm not going to shade around the beach ball. Because in my opinion, by doing that, then the whole beard's going to be shaded. And it just kind of takes away from everything you just did. And I might have to mix some darker color. And I think I'm going to. I'm going to get a little bit of neutral gray and darken this up a little bit. Maybe I'll just do some sand gray. I mean, slate gray. And then I am going to have to empty my water. So I'm just mixing these two colors together just to try and get just like a medium gray. Because I do want you to be able to see that shadow. Yeah, see, if I was to shade around that, then you wouldn't see the beard at all. So, this is a little bit more darker than what I wanted, but it is what it is. I think that's going to be good enough. I need to actually bring it down a little bit more. All right, so I get a second chance of fixing that shading color. So I'm going to bring it down even more. I would like to think that's low enough, but who knows? That's pretty good. Okay. All right, I'm going to empty my water, and I will be back, and we'll work on his hands, his nose, his glasses. I'm still undecided about the glasses. I'm thinking a bright pink to go with that hat band. So I will be back shortly. Hopefully you stick around. let's continue on. I think what I'm going to start off doing is I'm going to go ahead and paint these glasses, at least the lens part. And I'm going to paint them like a darker gray. I'm going to use the neutral gray. And then what I'm going to do is dry brush. Now I've included a little sun. That my plan is to glue it on the tailgate, but you can glue it anywhere. I mean, if you wanted to, you could glue it, you know, on the surfboard, just for, you know, something extra. I was going to glue it on the tailgate, but that kind of like adds a different element. You don't have to use it at all, so, but I'm going to include it as part of the file. And the DIY wood kit. So, I'm just going to use a little neutral gray because I want the lenses to be a little bit dark, and then I'm going to dry brush some even more darkness on them. There's also a product by Deco Art called Liquid Glass. If you wanted to give the lenses a shiny look, you could do that. Just has to be a personal preference. Something I noticed is I don't have all my lights turned on. That's a first. But it's getting ready to blow up a storm here. And then if you watch my other video, I am going to dry brush using my rake brush. I'm just going to load it up with some paint and then take a lot of the paint off and just dry brush a couple streaks across the lenses. Just to give it a different look. That's too much paint. You know, something else you can do, and I just kind of noticed this because I'm not getting a good coat of paint on there. You could take and dry brush a little bit of light gray right in the center if you didn't want to do those lines. And I think I might do that this time around, because I kind of liked how that looked. But I'll wait until I get my darker color on first. But what's happening is I'm not allowing my paint to dry before trying to put on another coat. And so I'm getting impatient and it's pulling off that coat of paint. That's what's going on. And I know I can't really, there's just not enough room, maybe, I don't think, to put a darker paint right there. I do have a small stencil brush, but I don't know. I don't think that's gonna work. So I'm gonna let that dry really good and try and put on another coat. So in the meantime, I'm going to paint the nose and hands, and I'm going to use warm beige. Okay. All right, let's attempt my thought and see how it goes. I'm going to do it on the small glasses first. think I want it just a titch lighter than that, but not much more. And this isn't the best brush. I mean, it hardly has any bristles on it. The bristles are maybe an 1/8 inch long. But I do think I'm going to do a little shading just to darken it up. And I think the color I'm going to use is graphite. I'm going to just kind of do that at the bottom of these teeny tiny glasses. All right, let me get a bigger brush and I'm just kind of going in a circle ever so lightly, doing a circular motion, but I'm also going around in a circle as well. And that's pretty much all I wanted. So I'm gonna try and do a very watered down float at the bottom of these glasses. Just to bring in another color. I'm walking the float up a little bit. And I think that that's about it. I wish that was a little bit more blended, but I don't know if I can fix it or not. Try and darken that up just a titch more. All right. One more coat of the flesh. I need to redo the sticky board. And all this is a piece of cardboard. And what I do is I take and wrap painter's tape around, you know, in various areas upside down. And then I take the painter's tape and go over it to hold it down and wrap it back around my cardboard. And what this does is it, you know, these small pieces, it just makes it easier to paint. You don't have to try and hold them in your hand, whether you're, you know, painting them with a paintbrush or a sponge. It holds them in place and it just makes it easier. So, now, last time I was on, I did a flower and I just kind of wasn't happy with it. So, I'm gonna redo. What I know I want is, I want to base coat these petals white. Because what I want to do is then go and dry brush the yellow center. Way too much paint on my brush. I am an overachiever today. Need to dig out those score lines as well. And you'll see here in a second what I'm gonna do. If you're familiar with the flower plumeria, because that's what this actually is. That was my intent, is to make it look like a plumeria flower. Then you're kind of familiar with how the flower petals are. So I'm just using the cool white. Hello. Bye, Lori, and thank you. Hope you have a great day too. Okay, and I'm going to use the Hauser medium green for the leaves. That's the color I used on the palm trees. The fronds of the palm trees. I'm going to switch to a smaller brush. I'm flirting with disaster using that brush. Hello. And do one more coat of white paint. And this flower is good. Well, I still have some techniques I want to do on it. But I just want a really good coat of white. Another color you could use is even light buttermilk. That might be a good choice for the petals on this flower. Alright, I'm going to highlight around the hands and the nose. I mix it up which side I highlight these hands. Sometimes I highlight at the top of them, sometimes the bottom. I don't think there's any set way to do it. And then how I like to do my noses is I like to go on the left side of the nose and then kind of wrap it around the top. And I know I want a little bit more. Hello. On the left side. It's not as low as what I would have liked. Then I'll let that dry really good, and then I'm gonna shade it. And I think I'm gonna highlight, I could probably use another coat. What I'm gonna do is, after I put another coat on, is I'm going to highlight just a tip of these leaves with some Hauser light green. I'm not going to shade them because the area to me is just not big enough. And you don't have to shade and highlight everything. All right. What I am gonna do is take that color, where'd it go? I didn't think I put it away, but I'm not seeing it. Oh. I'm going to take this color called Sunny Day, and it's a bright color. But what I want to do is just very lightly dry brush the center of this flower with this color. And like I said, if you're familiar with plumeria, you kind of already know what it looks like. And once again, I'm doing a circular motion and kind of going in a circular motion around. And I know I want that area to be a little bit wider. But I want the yellow to be faint. really bold in the middle. And then just kind of like disappear. What dry brushing does is, to me, it's just a delicate way of adding color. I'm pressing pretty hard in the center here because I really want that center to be bright. And that's probably good enough. Okay. With a teeny tiny brush, and you can use like a float. I'm gonna float, but if I'm not getting the results that I want, then I'm gonna take a liner brush and put this line on. But I'm gonna take this purple petal after I wipe off my hands. And I'm going to add some lines to this brush, flower. Now what I can tell you is I did not have a purple plumeria. I don't even think there's such a thing as a purple plumeria. But with the hat band being pink, I just don't think it would stand out. There's pink, there's like a really dark, like fuchsia color. There's yellow, there's even kind of like a coral. So I just want this to be ever so faint. That's my plan. So what I'm gonna do is just put color down the one side. And I don't know if I like that. As a matter of fact, I know I don't. So I'm gonna take baby pink. I'm gonna take baby pink and do that. That's better than what I wanted. My struggle is for real today. Holy smokes. And if this ended up not being dark enough after I put them all on, I'll do a darker pink. I might go back and just use the liner brush. I think that's probably a better choice. Just water down my pan a little bit and see, I wanted it not such a distinct line, and that's why I was using my angle brush. So, because I want that kind of faded. These lines are way bigger than what I wanted, but I may do this off camera again. I feel like there could be a little bit more yellow right on this one petal. So I'm just going to take this liner brush and just kind of add some color. And that's that. I need to highlight the tip of these leaves, and this flower's done. All right. So this is kind of what we're looking at for the flower. I don't think it blends in that bad. It stands out. And that's actually what a plumeria looks like. So let's shade his hands. And what I like to do is take a little burnt sienna in the flesh and mix it together. Because to use the burnt sienna just by itself, I think is just too much. And this is just a pretty faint shading color. And then I'm gonna do his nose. I'm gonna go from the top left and then kind of wrap it around the bottom. And on his nose, I will be adding a little rose color. And what I like to use is a color called Terra Coral, which is now retired. Bummer. I use this color for the if I'm gonna make rosy cheeks, just any type of like pinkish cast on flesh. And that's that. I pretty much covered up all that shading I did. A little bit more shading on his hands because he's in the back of the truck and he's been riding the back of the truck for a while. So he's starting to get a little suntan. So, where am I as far as time? Okay. Well, I think I'm going to wrap this up for today. We're pretty darn close to being done. I didn't get the glasses painted. I'm still kind of undecided. I'm thinking a pink would be good. So you have an idea where we're leaving off. Now this is where we are so far, and he's pretty darn cute. I'm loving him. Don't know how I feel about that surfboard, but I don't know what other colors I can choose, but yeah, I'm liking them. I'm liking them a lot. So, all right, I will be back on probably over the weekend to hopefully get this finished up. Maybe start on something else. Got a couple different sign insert sets completed and need cut, and I'm anxious to get those painted. I have an Uncle Sam for my interchangeable window. And a couple other things, and I'm starting to work on another interchangeable design. Something different, so. But, if you're into YouTube, like I said earlier, Facebook is going to be deleting these videos after 30 days. So I have transferred them onto YouTube, and my YouTube channel is called Elevated Designs. Please subscribe. I'm going to be putting all these videos over there. It's very well organized and separated by playlists, and you can watch these in order of how I paint them. And if you like what you're seeing and you want to purchase an SVG or a DIY wood kit, please visit my Etsy shop, Elevated Designs. So until next time, take care. Bye-bye.